through.
Right, Phil, number one, Arabian Myth, showing it's Arabian Myth on camera now. We might have a look at the tote odds as we have a look at these horses. Arabian Myth won the Australian Cup. He hasn't, the Australian steeplechase last year. He hasn't done much of his recent outings. He's incidentally showing $3.15 the win, but he is a matured, safe jumper, and he's in the race with a good chance.
Well, here's one that has every chance of winning, I'd say anyway. Number 2, Canahai, to be ridden by D. Londrigan.
Yes, he's the Grand National winner at Flemington. He's showing $1.30, so he's pretty skinny odds on the tote, but he's my selection and yours too, I believe, Phil.
Sure is. Take out number 3, Tara Ruler. Number 4 is Mr. Spence, C.W. Thornton.
Mr. Spence led in the Briley here on Tuesday. The extra distance might be a problem for him. He finished third. He was beaten 4 lengths, and he's about a 10-to-1 chance at tote odds of $5.40.
Scratch number 5, Magic Paul. Number 6 is Kurdu, S. Jenkins.
Yes, now Kurdu is the favourite in the betting ring at this stage, but he's $3.70 on the tote, so that will trim up. He's had quite a strong preparation. He was beaten at Oakbank last start, or 2 starts back when second. He was beaten 16 lengths in the Great Eastern Steeplechase, and at Moonee Valley last start in a hurdle race, he was a long way from the winner, but he's a seasoned jumper. He's an 11-year-old. He knows what it's all about, and he'll take some beating.
Scratch number 7, Action Boy. Number 8 is Zamenhof, to be ridden by M. Faust.
Zamenhof is a 10-year-old. He was 4th in the Great Eastern at Oakbank. He was beaten 25 lengths. His tote odds at the moment are $3.50 at 6-to-1, and he's one of the chances in an open race.
Scratch number 9, Norwin Force. We look at number 10, Linera, L. Poltridge.
Well, Linera is really only a plodder. It's been some time since he's done anything. In fact, he hasn't won a race, or she's a 7-year-old mare, hasn't won in 27 starts, and I don't think that she'll break her maiden status today.
All right, take out number 11, Carablad, number 12, Commissioned Red. Let's look at number 13, Lycopolis, to be ridden by K. Nunn.
Well, Lycopolis, also a 7-year-old, has 1 win in 20 starts and only 3 minor placings, hence the tote odds of $29.05. So Lycopolis really cannot be considered at all on form.
Number 14 is Sniper's Moon, D. Johnson.
Well, Sniper's Moon also is a pretty slow conveyance, yet to win in 26 starts and showing tote odds of $19.50. Some of these roughies, Phil, would need mishaps to have any chance really of running a place, but of course this race itself is has a history studded with mishaps.
Right, and finally number 15 in the book is Newport Boy, and the rider here, we haven't got a rider listed.
No, we'll check that one out, Phil, as we look at Newport Boy's form. Well, it's pretty ordinary, really. He's a point-to-point winner, and that doesn't show on his form card, where he's had 29 starts. It's G. Byatt as the rider, and Newport Boy is at Bolter's odds.
All right, one of the most exciting races of the racing calendar about to come up. Race 7 on the programme, the Warrnambool Blankets Grand Annual Steeplechase, time to start at 3:15.
Hey, don't just...
All indicated, the Warrnambool Grand Annual Steeplechase is a pretty gruelling event. There we have them looking at the first jumper here today. But I wonder how many of you remember Spring Fortune's win of last year. Let's have a look at it before the horses go to the barrier.
Wonder Jump, Gallywood's got 2 lengths on Wild Native. Spring Fortune the inside, behind those horses, Fair Creature into the straight. Can Gallywood get over the last? Spring Fortune's moved up and joined him and taken the lead. It's Spring Fortune and Gallywood at the 33rd. Spring Fortune jumped at a length and a half to Gallywood. Wild Native's fallen. Spring Fortune in front. Gallywood's having a crack at him from Fair Creature. Spring Fortune's got the Grand Annual one. He's completed the Great Eastern Grand Annual double. Gallywood a mighty second.
All right, and there we have the horses now moving around behind the barrier, I'd say.
Incidentally, Phil, Kenahai is a very short price favourite now. Kurdu, who was overnight favourite in pre-post markets, has drifted right out, and the big money has come for Kenahai. He's at a very skinny odds for a race such as this.
Just a fraction above even money.
Like about 5 to 4.
Like about that, because I've got it written on the ticket here.
Have you? Right. Incidentally, Kurdu, the second favourite, was trained by Kevin Myers, who trained last year's winner, Spring Fortune, and he brought Kenahai to Australia and sold the horse, and Eric Musgrove at Pakenham is now training Kenahai.
Well, I suppose you could say Butch Londrigan would wear this course like the back of a glove, you know. He was a commentator with us here last year, and he described this course fully, and he would probably be the most experienced jockey for the Warrnambool course in the race, wouldn't he?
Yes, I'd say so. He's that's Butch on screen now. He has a wonderful record here, and some of his performances in jumping races have been great. He was lured back to riding. His turbans in the commentary box was pretty short, wasn't it?
Well, I said to him when he walked past me a while ago, "By gee, Butch, you've lost a bit of weight." He said, "I can see you haven't." He's quite a character, isn't he?
He sure is. This race, Phil, it's unique in Australia. It's the last bastion of association of horse loving rather than the punt, because this crowd here is really here to see a spectacle, to see horses race over 5,500 metres, over 33 obstacles, and it's going to be a fantastic sight. And on this occasion, betting is secondary.
Well, the Grand Annual, Keith, has seen many dramas and great finishes. In 1909 and 1934, all 10 runners either fell or balked. And in 1909, Mossbank eventually won the race after the jockey remounted. 2 other horses, Romana and Red Light, were also remounted and filled the placings. And we've seen quite a bit of drama here over the years. Horses you think are going to win it, they get tired coming down the hill, don't they, in that last lap of the 2?
Many memories. My bank doesn't go back as to the early part of the century as yours did, Phil.
It was obvious I was reading it, Keith.
But I can remember Ted Byrne giving the V for victory salute as he went past the post here in the days before the photo finish, and I thought he was beaten half a neck.
We were telecasting in those days, and by gee, got into trouble with the stewards for doing that.
Yes, there's a plate being replaced on one of the runners. We might pick up that saddlecloth number in a minute as we see the farrier hard at work. It looks easy going, but it's not indeed, to get the horse, and it is number 10. Number 10. To get him to stand still as we both search for the right page. Linera, the mare. So Linera being replated, and that will delay the start only slightly.
See Pauline Dalton in the mounting yard here. Big crowd today. It's hard to estimate a crowd here at Warrnambool, because when the big races are on, as I said earlier, a lot of people leave the course and go to the hill up the back of the course. I think the only way to get any real indication is to try walking through the crowds, and they're pretty hard to walk through today.
Yes, I think Warrnambool is a magic place, Phil. If you've ever had anything to do with this city, it stays with you for life. I know that this is the week that ex-residents of Warrnambool love to come back to their home city, and I know many that couldn't make it today from Melbourne would dearly love to be here, and they include the editor of The Sun, Mr. Colin Duck, who I worked with at Warrnambool, along with Ron Reid from the Herald, and Martin Thomas, editor of the Sunday Press. They're all boys from the Bull.
Well, I might mention that this telecast is originating through BTV6 to Channel 10 in Melbourne, GMV6 in Shepparton, and SES8 in Mount Gambier. And the boys are doing a great job down here today. They're catching everything we're talking about anyway, Keith.
Well, as you can see now that every vantage point on this course has been taken, as the replating of Linera continues with the farrier driving in those last nails. The mounting yard is the only area uncrowded, and right around this course, as we mentioned, Scotchman's Hill, where people walk up to 3/4 of a mile to get that wonderful view from the top of the hill looking down on this course. And there's the starting gates. The horses will soon go into these gates, and they'll then be on their way 5,500 metres, the longest race in Australia with 33 obstacles.
And just before we go up to Bruce McAvaney, I might mention that through Channel 10 we will be telecasting the Flemington meeting next Saturday.
Oh, fine, Phil, yes, indeed. Last-minute activity in the betting ring. Most bets would have been laid now. People have grabbed every vantage point possible The rain is holding off, and we'll get through this race, I'm sure, rain-free, as we go to Bruce McAvaney to call the 1988 Grand Annual Steeplechase.
Keith Hillier and Phil Gibbs setting the scene for the Grand Annual. One of the really great races, and you can see the totes. Kanahai at 130, Arabian Myth at 320, 160 for Kurdu. 33 fences, 5,500 metres. Butch Longdrigan going for his 5th Grand Annual. Harry's ridden 5 Warrnambool Cups after today. Butch has won 4, Thackeray twice. One on Brigade, of course. It's been some wonderful horses win the race. Linera joins them and they're set. Kanahai the favourite, Grand National winner. Light on. Stanwell racing. And they got away as you'd expect them in the Grand Annual. Nice and slow but safely. And Mr. Spence and Sniper's Moon began all right with Newport Boy and Zamanoff and Kanahai. Arabian Myth, Lycopolis going up. Kurdu and Linera is going to be last. Well, they come to the first of their 33. Lycopolis on the outside of Sniper's Moon as they approach the first with about 30,000 people looking on. Over they go. Newport Boy is third over it safely. Then Mr. Spence, Kurdu. 4 or 5 lengths away. Arabian Myth, Lycopolis almost fell. In fact, he came down. Lycopolis is down at the second. As they go to the third, they've got 30 to get over. Lycopolis out of it. And Sniper's Moon leads a length to Mr. Spence, 3 to Newport Boy and Kurdu. 2 to Zamanoff, another Grand National winner behind him, and Kanahai. 2 to Linera and Arabian Myth. Out to the Alfred Road double, and it's Mr. Spence and Sniper's Moon together. 3 lengths to Newport Boy. The riderless horse is trying to run off. Let's hope he doesn't get in the road of any of these horses. Kurdu's 4th as they go over the first of the Alfred Road. 5 lengths away, Zamanoff as they go into Briley, then Arabian Myth, Kanahai, and 4 lengths to Linera. Into Briley's paddock for the first time. They climb a big hill here. And Sniper's Moon, one of the boulders, led by a length in second placing Mr. Spence as they go to the first of 3 in the paddock. 10 lengths away, Newport Boy, a length to Kurdu, 8 lengths to Zamanoff. A half length away, Arabian Myth, 2 to Kanahai, given plenty of time, and 2 to Linera. Over the second in Briley's, and they're all over it safely. Repeating, Lycopolis has already come a cropper at the second, and Mr. Spence on the outside and Sniper's Moon on the inside of it as they keep climbing this hill. 10 lengths to Newport Boy, a length away to Kurdu, 4th as they go over the third in Briley's. 5 lengths away, Arabian Myth. Oh, Kanahai hit that with everything. Zamanoff in front of him and 3 to Linera. The favourite made a bad mistake there. He'll have to balance him up, Butch Longdrigan. On Cox's Hill the first time, and Sniper's Moon about a half in front of Mr. Spence. Then the riderless Lycopolis, a length and a half away, then to Newport Boy, 2 to Kurdu, going all right, but a long way to go as they're into Granda's paddock down the hill. 20 lengths away, Zamanoff, about 6 lengths, Arabian Myth and Kanahai, and 4 to Linera. Gee, the riderless horses run off Lycopolis into the crowd here. Let's hope everybody's all right. He nearly knocked Mr. Spence over. A sensation. Well, he's gone out into the paddock there, Lycopolis, as they go over the Tozer Road double, and they're towards a man trap. Sensational start to this Grand Annual, and Mr. Spence led 2 lengths. Sniper's Moon, a length and a half to Kurdu, going all right. Newport Boy the inside. 5 away, Zamanoff. They're at the man trap now as they go over it. 4 lengths away, then to Kanahai, 3 to Linera, and 2 to Arabian Myth. The next fence is Goodall's, and Mr. Spence, as he did in the Briley in front, by a length to Sniper's Moon. A length and a half to Kurdu, a half Newport Boy as they go to the Goodall's jump. Oh, the boy on Newport Boy, he lost his rider before the fence there, so Newport Boy's out of business. So 2 of them out of business as they go back to where they started from. Let's hope that Newport Boy doesn't interfere with Mr. Spence. He's running all over the place, Newport Boy. Mr. Spence led. 3 lengths to Sniper's Moon, 2 to Kurdu as they go over this. 5 lengths to Zamanoff, Kanahai, 4 lengths away, Linera, and 3 lengths away, Arabian Myth. So Mr. Spence led. Kanahai saved a lot of ground as they come back in front of the stands. With a lap to go, they've jumped 16, 17 to go, and Mr. Spence in front of the Grand Annual. Sniper's Moon moved up and joined it and took the lead. A length and a half away to Kurdu at the first of a treble. 1 and a half to Zamanoff, Kanahai as they go over it, then Arabian Myth and Linera. Well, there's 7 left, but there's only 6 lengths first to last as they go over the second of the treble. The boy on Kanahai, Butch Longdrigan, he called for a cab there, and Mr. Spence and Sniper's Moon at the next from Kurdu. Then Kanahai, Zamanoff, Linera, and 2 lengths away, Arabian Myth. Out to the Alfred Road double again. This is where it starts to get tough. And Sniper's Moon leads a length to Mr. Spence and a length away Kurdu. Canahai's going all right after making that mistake in Briley's. Arabian Myth's had a good run 2 lengths away, then Zamanoff and Tuda Linera. They're in the Alfred Road double territory as they go over it, and Sniper's Moon led from Mr. Spence and Kurdu at the second. Up and over, Canahai keeps saving ground on the inside. He's fourth. A length away Arabian Myth, a half to Zamanoff and 1 away Linera. Into Briley's, 3 to jump in Briley's paddock, and they're up a hill, and it's Kurdu on the inside of Sniper's Moon as they go over the first. Then Mr. Spence, Zamanoff moved up past Canahai, a half length away Arabian Myth and 2 or 3 lengths to Linera. At the second in Briley's, and they're all over it safely. Sniper's Moon a half to Kurdu, Zamanoff's moved up stylishly third. Canahai, Mr. Spence, Arabian Myth, and about 4 or 5 lengths away last Linera. Up the hill, and Kurdu's taken the lead from Sniper's Moon, and Zamanoff's taking him on. Oh, one of them's come down. Zamanoff's crashed. Zamanoff's come down, and Mr. Spence has gone with him. Only 5 left in the Grand Annual at the Cox's Hill Road. At the hill now at the double, and Canahai's gone through to take a narrow lead from Kurdu. Up and over the first at Cox's Hill and the second. And Canahai's taken the lead by a length to Kurdu and 5 to Arabian Myth. 4 to Linera, they're in Granda's paddock down the hill, and 3 away Sniper's Moon. Well, Canahai, we know he can stay. He won the Grand National at Tozer's Road. He's 2 in front of Kurdu. 5 to Arabian Myth. Canahai nearly fell. Will he get over the next? He did, Londrigan. I don't know how he got back in the saddle. A brilliant bit of riding. Canahai's 2 in front now. Ken Butch, Londrigan get him going again. Kurdu second at the 1,000. 2 to Arabian Myth, 2 to Linera, and forget Sniper's Moon. He's away again on Canahai. Up and over the fourth last, 2 to Kurdu, Arabian Myth running on. 3 to Linera and about 10 lengths away Sniper's Moon. Canahai comes to the third last. He's 3 lengths in front. Arabian Myth is running on strongly. He's got within a length of Canahai. 1 away to Kurdu, who's still there, and about 4 to Linera. Arabian Myth's taken the lead from Canahai with 2 to go in the Grand Annual, and he's got away from him. A length away to Kurdu and 1 to Linera. Arabian Myth gets to the second last. He jumped it very slowly. Canahai's joined him again. It's like a heavyweight contest. A half to Kurdu and 3 lengths to Linera. They can hardly walk at the 400. Canahai's a half in front. Kurdu has a crack at him. Arabian Myth 3 deep, and only 2 to Linera running on. Any one of the 4 can win into the straight. Arabian Myth out in the centre took the lead from Canahai. Then Kurdu, they've jumped 33. Here's the last. Arabian Myth draws to it, got over a length in front of Canahai. 2 to Kurdu and 2 or 3 lengths to Linera. But Arabian Myth, the Australian sleeper winner, is going to win the Grand Annual. The Grand Annual winner's Arabian Myth. He's away by 3 lengths to Canahai, and the top 8 wins. Third Kurdu, about 5 lengths to Linera. And where's old Sniper's Moon? It pulled up with about 800 metres to run. Well, an unbelievable race. It was a war of attrition. It really was. It was like 15 rounds with Mike Tyson. They were up and back, round and about. Canahai hit the one at Tozer Road with everything. How Londrigan got him over the second, I'll never know. And I reckon it's cost him the race. He hit Briley's hard, and he hit that one at Tozer. But Arabian Myth with Paul Worthington on top, he's ridden it a treat, has won the Grand Annual. And there's a sight we often see, number 13, Lacopoulos, who went at the first. Now let's have a look. They're in Briley's now. This is where Zamanoff and Mr. Spence go down. Up goes Zamanoff, Mr. Spence over the top, crash. And it left Kurdu in front with Canahai and Sniper's Moon and Arabian Myth. They go up the top to Cox's Hill. And a sensational Grand Annual with Arabian Myth for Paul Worthington winning. It's 1, 2...
Okay, after dinner.
Annual steeplechase. 5,500 metres, 33 jumps ahead of them. The red light on. They're set. They're off in the annual. Zamanoff jumped okay with Newport Boy, showing some pace also there towards the centre was Sniper's Moon in the early stages. Just in behind them, Mr. Spence Canahai. Up on the outside, pulling its way up as well as Lycopolis. Now they come to the first one. First of 33, and on the outside, Lycopolis pulls its way to the lead. In second placing is Sniper's Moon. They're all over it safely. Then in behind them, Mr. Spence, who's third as they go over the next one. Further back in the field, all one's down. Lycopolis. Lycopolis has fallen at the second. So out of the straight they swing. Sniper's Moon is in front. Mr. Spencer's second, followed by Kurdu, then Newport Boy. In behind them, Zamanoff from Canahai. A length and a half away, then Arabian Myth, and Linear is back at the rear. Up towards the Alfred Road double they go on the first occasion, and the leader is Sniper's Moon. In second placing, Mr. Spence, who's pulled his way up there too. Then in behind them came Kurdu as they go over the double there in Alfred Road. Further back then in the field came as they go there was Newport Boy. Further back in the field then 3 lengths away was Zamanoff. Then over on the outside Arabian Myth. 3 lengths back then came Canahai. And 5 away last of all is Linear. There's a treble they've got to jump in Briley, and they're all over the first safely. And the leader is Sniper's Moon. Moving up again on the outside is Mr. Spence. Then the riderless one. It might cause a few problems there. Newport Boy's about 8 lengths from that leading 2. Then further back in the field came Kurdu, followed by Arabian Myth. Followed by further back then was Zamanoff, Canahai and Linear. The last one in Briley the first time, and the leader there is jumping nicely. It's Sniper's Moon in front. In second placing, Mr. Spence up on the outside. Then 5 away, then Newport Boy, followed by Kurdu as they go to the top of Cox's Hill and jump the pair there. Over the road they go, and the leader is Sniper's Moon on the inside from Mr. Spence, the outside half a length away as they come to the next. Then further back was Newport Boy from Kurdu. Zamanoff, followed by Arabian Myth. Further back then was Canahai. Oh, the riderless one caused some troubles there. It ran right across the field, and it's gone out into the crowd, that riderless one, as they come over and out of Granter's paddock and onto the course proper once again. And Mr. Spence has pulled its way to the lead. In second placing now is Sniper's Moon. Then Newport Boy from Kurdu. 5 lengths away then was Zamanoff. A further 4 away then came Canahai. Length and a half away Linear as they go over the next, and last of all is Arabian Myth. Over the man trap they go, and they're about to get back to where they start from. They're up to the 15th fence, and Mr. Spence the leader. In second placing is Sniper's Moon, who's got within a length of it again. A length away Kurdu. Oh, one lost the rider there before the fence. That was Newport Boy. And as they swing into the straight this time, they'll have 3 in the lane as they come round this time. And the leader now is Mr. Spence. In second placing over on the outside is Sniper's Moon, then Kurdu, then Zamanoff, followed by Canahai. Linear and Arabian Myth last of all as they get over the next. Now they're straightening up for the 3 in the straight. The riderless horse, I hope it doesn't cause too many problems again here. And the leader is Mr. Spence in front. Kurdu coming at it, then Sniper's Moon. Further back then was Zamanoff, then follows Canahai. Further back then was Linear, and last of all Arabian Myth over the 3 in the lane. And the leader is Sniper's Moon. Got over it okay. In second placing, Mr. Spence moving up again as they go to the second in the lane. Then Kurdu jumping nicely from Zamanoff. Linear further back with Canahai saving ground. And last of all is Arabian Myth completing the treble in the straight, and they head out towards the Alfred Road double once again. And the leader is Sniper's Moon. Up on the outside, Mr. Spence second, followed by Kurdu. Then Canahai running on well. Then Zamanoff. Further back was Arabian Myth, and now Linear is last of all towards the Alfred Road double on the last occasion. And the leader is Sniper's Moon from Kurdu moving up along the inside. Then Mr. Spence wider with Canahai saving ground. Further back then was Arabian Myth as they go over the second of the double into Briley. Further back then was Zamanoff. And last of all is Linear. Up into Briley paddock they go on the last occasion. They've got 3 to jump in the paddock. They come to the first of them. Sniper's Moon gets over it well. Kurdu is second. Mr. Spence third. Then Zamanoff followed by Canahai. They're starting the bunch. Then Arabian Myth as they come to the next one. And last of all, about 4 lengths away was Linear. They're going up the hill in Briley towards the third of the ones there in Briley. And look at them. There's about 5 lengths covering the first division, and Kurdu in front of in second placing. Moving up on the outside now is Zamanoff, who's taken off. Oh, Zamanoff's down though. It's come at that one. It's fallen Zamanoff, and so is Mr. Spence. The 2 of them out of the race. race. Kurdu on the outside now of Kanahai second, followed by further back then in the field came Arabian Myth, then follows Sniper's Moon, who's dropping out of it with Linera over the pair on the top of Cox's Hill and into Grannis Craddock the last time, and the leader now is Kanahai. In second placing comes Kurdu, followed by 4 lengths away then was Arabian Myth, in behind them Linera and Sniper's Moon, the only other one in the race. Over the double the last time, Kanahai, oh, it made a mess of the first one, got away with the second one again, and Kanahai, it's 3 lengths in front. Kurdu is second, followed by Arabian Myth third, then Linera, and a long way back came Sniper's Moon. Down the back straight they go, 1,000 from home, and the leader is Kanahai. Let's see how he jumps this one, got over it okay. He's 3 in front of Kurdu, Arabian Myth on the outside, followed by Linera, and a long gap back then Sniper's Moon, who threw the rider there at that one. Kanahai is in front, moving up now the top weight. Arabian Myth has grabbed it quickly, Kurdu in behind them, 4 lengths away, then came Linera, the only one left in it. There's 4 left in the race, and up the side they come, and it's Arabian Myth with 600 metres to go. He jumps his next one okay. Kanahai again joins in the inside, then came Kurdu. Further back in the field was Linera. They're about to straighten up, they've only got one to get over. Kanahai, Kurdu, Arabian Myth and Linera joining in, a line of 4 on the home turn. What a finish coming up. Arabian Myth on the outside, Kanahai the rails, they're coming to the last. Arabian Myth over on the outside, and Kanahai, they come to it. Arabian Myth got over it smartly in front of Kanahai. The battle's on now. Arabian Myth the outer side, Kanahai the inside. Arabian Myth's drawing clear though near the line, and what a win. Arabian Myth wins the hurdle, the steeple. Arabian Myth scores by 3 lengths. Kanahai was second, 6 away third Kurdu, 10 away then was Linera, and they're the only ones to complete the course. Stand by for the placings after the running of the 1988 Grand Annual Steeple. Now